السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وخليله من خلقه وصفيه. أما بعد، فنسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعلنا وإياكم من المستمعين للقول والمتبعين أحسنه، وأن يجعل ما نقوله ونسمعه حجة لنا لا علينا يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد، فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The Muslim community has been doing something for the last 14 days, which is really something incredible. Especially in a time where people are addicted to food, addicted to drinking, addicted to doing so many things, we see that the Muslim nevertheless was able to give up on something which is so dear to him. And you should not underestimate this. Some people think because they feel like it feels difficult on their shoulders to fast, they have the feeling that they are not being good Muslims. They wake up and they say, oh, another day of Sawm, I feel it like a kind of burden on my shoulders and it's a bit difficult for me. And they think that because of that they are weak Muslims. The fact that you experience this but nevertheless carry on makes you one of the strongest people on the face of the earth. The fact that you feel you want to eat and drink, especially now when the sun is shining, and that behind the corner you could eat, you could drink, and you are not doing that, makes of you a real life hero. The fact that you keep on fighting your fatigue because you have to wake up early in the morning makes of you a hero. Al-ajru ala qadri al-mashaqqa. One will be rewarded in harmony with the effort one has to put in it. So this is what you are living. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, my Lord spoke to me this night. This night my Lord spoke to me. And he said, Ya Muhammadu, أتدري فيما يختصم الملأ الأعلى؟ Ya Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, do you know about what the Mala'ul A'la are debating? who are the Mala'ul A'la? It are the angels that are the closest to Allah Jalla wa Ala, the most noble ones, the most elevated ones, the strongest ones, the ones with the highest status, like Jibreel wa Mika'il wa Israfil wa Malakul Maut, and the angels carrying the throne. Do you know about what they are debating, Ya Muhammad? He said, no, Ya Allah. He said, then he showed me everything which was in the heavens and on earth, and then I knew. He said, Ya Muhammad, do you know now about what they are debating? And he said, Naam ya Rabbi. And one of the things that he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they are debating about the high levels of whom? What did he say? This is not a hadith about fasting, but it will make you understand an incredible, important issue and matter and principle. They said they are talking about the elevated levels in paradise, and it is for those الَّذِينَ يُسْبِغُونَ الْوُضُوءَ عَلَى الْمَكَارِهِ, those who perform the wudu على المكاره. What does that mean? When everything is actually not inviting them, even against their will. Meaning, you get up in an early winter or during the winter and you feel very cold and you want to stay under, in your bed, but you nevertheless say, I don't want to miss Fajr. But you want to stay in your bed. Imagine it's a cold winter night and you have to get out and you have no warm water. That is al-makarih. So he says, it are those who perform the wudu ala al-makarih. So meaning that sometimes, yes, there will be moments where you feel that you're fighting against yourself, but that doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong because you do not give in to what you want to do, but to what Allah Jalla wa Ala wants from you. So this is why the Prophet ﷺ, he said that the angels, they laugh at a certain person and the Lord is pleased with that person. It is a person that wakes up during the night in a cold winter night and everything is inviting him to stay in bed, but he leaves his bed and performs wudu. So this is your battle, this is our battle. And this makes you strong. But Shaitan, you know what he says? He's never pleased. He never wants you to be pleased with your worship. Do you know why? Because as long as you keep on blaming yourself, loathing yourself, as long as you keep on criticizing yourself, then and never look at yourself through a positive eye, then eventually you will give up on yourself and give up on worship. So Shaitan has two ways of stopping you to worship Allah Jalla wa Ala. The first one is to never make you happy with your worship. Every time you do something, you say, I could do more. But eventually that more will lead to you stopping. That's one. And the other way is exactly the opposite. It is praising yourself. Look at what I am doing. Look at how strong I am. Look at what I am capable of. That leads to arrogance, and arrogance doesn't lead to stopping of the worship, but leads to the worship not being accepted. And this is the way that Shaitan plays This is the way that he plays chess. Either he makes you arrogant or either he makes you despair, and we are right in the middle with hope and fear and love for the divine Jalla wa Ala. So this is why we love when Allah Jalla wa Ala facilitates for us the worship, because it's the very proof that Allah Jalla wa Ala loves us. People say, how can I know that Allah loves me? Well, the fact that you are worshipping Him is the proof of the pudding. Or the proof in the pudding is that you do not give up on worship in the most difficult times. That's the proof that He loves you. That's the proof that He wants you in Jannah. And this is why the scholar said, if you see that Allah chose you, you didn't choose Allah, Allah chose you. Allah wanted you to choose for Him, and that's why He created in your heart the love to come to Him. If He didn't want you near, He wouldn't have inspired you to find Him. No matter how weak you think you are, if there is a small little candle inside of your heart burning, that little flame that says, I should better my life, or that says, I should stop with this haram, I'm not quite religious enough or spiritual enough, even if you see that you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, but the fact that this light this flame has not been extinguished, is because Allah has kept it living, alive, and burning and kicking in your heart, because He wants you to use that small little flame to turn it into a fire of passion. So this is how Allah saves us. Like I always say, even if we give up on Allah, Allah hasn't given up on us. Because if Allah would have treated me in relation to what I do, I probably should have stopped praying, stopped fasting, stopped doing so many things. But His mercy is bigger than your sin. His mercy is bigger than your sin. And that's why He keeps on inviting you. So this is why, barakallahu fikum, never let the shaitan, never allow him to let you despair of Allah's mercy, because Allah says no one despairs of Allah's mercy but those who will be destroyed. And in an ayah, apart from those who disbelieve. So despair is not allowed. That's number one. And don't let him make you arrogant if you see that you're doing well, but rather become happy and pleased with Allah Jalla wa Ala for the very fact that He chose you to come near to Him. And that's something we have done nothing for. يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمُوا قُلْ لَا تَمُنُّوا عَلَيَّ إِسْلَامَكُمْ بَلِ اللَّهُ يَمُنُّ عَلَيْكَ. Yani they're boasting and showing off with their practice of the deen. Don't boast in front of me. Allah is the one who owns what you are boasting with. So this is why we, even if you sit here now in the mosque, listening, not to me, to any khatib that could have been here, you were invited into the house of Allah. He wanted you today to be His guest. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ. The masajid are Allah's. If He doesn't want you in His house, even if you would have wanted to come, you would have been stopped by the Almighty. You are here for a reason. To hear these words for a reason. To gather together with your brothers for a reason. Nothing is without a reason. You are loved. No matter what you think of yourself. What you think of yourself is not important. It is what Allah thinks of you. How do you know what He thinks of you? Look at what you do. That's where the scholars say, if you want to know what your qima, your value is with Allah, then look at the moment you are living now. Yes, we have maybe a past where we did wrong things, maybe even 5 minutes ago. But Allah looks at us as we are now. Who are you now? A person in a mosque, listening to a khutbah, coming and leaving his house, tired in the sun and fasting, just to fulfill this obligation. That is who you are for Allah now, regardless of the things you have done or may do. Allah judges us in line with who we are at this very moment. فَكُنْ إِبْنَ دَقِيقَتِكَ. Be the child of your moment at every time. The best possible servant in every second of your life. And that is who you are for Allah. So I ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to make this beneficial, Ya Rabbi. وَلَا تُؤَخِذْنَا بِمَا قُلْنَا يَا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ وَلِيُّ ذَلِكَ وَالْقَادِرُ عَلَيْهِ. الحمد لله كثيرا كما أمر والصلاة والسلام على خير وأفضل البشر وعلى جميع من اقتفى الأثر وبعد. So very brief, I'm not going to make the khutbah very long, it's very hot, we are tired. But as I said last week, we spoke about brotherhood. Once again, and I want to emphasize on this, and that's one advice I would like to give you. If you take it, you will feel better. Like if we know that we are all brothers, right? We are all brothers. You do not want any of your brothers to suffer because of you Yawm al-Qiyamah. So when you know that somebody has wronged you, try to make dua for them. Because when you make dua for them, then the angels will say, and for you the same. You don't want your brother or your sister to suffer and to cry and to shake and tremble on the day of judgment. You want to set them free. So this is why one of the best things you can ask for when you have grudges in your heart, when you have anger in your heart towards somebody, is for Allah to bless that person's life. And what else? You want that person to stop oppressing you, not because of you, but because you want your brother to be obedient to Allah. I remember when I became a Muslim, my mother said a sentence at the very beginning. She said, my son, being good to your mother is one of the greatest forms of worship in Islam. So if I request from you to behave me well, it's only because I do not want you in hell. If I want you to behave well, it is not because of me. It is because of you being a good son to me will take you to paradise, and not being it will take you to hell. So this is why when people wrong us, actually the mercy is bigger than the anger. We don't want our brother to walk under the anger of Allah Jalla wa Ala. It's your brother, for God's sake. It's a brother and a sister which is stronger than bloodline. Can you imagine? إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. It's stronger than blood, it's stronger than family. It has been declared as a brotherhood by the Almighty, and we are His slaves. So, set people free from hell. If they wronged you, set them free from Allah's anger, and remind them because of what? Because you want them to walk in the light of Allah's contentment, Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let this be our homework for this week. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us strength to fast, Ya Rabbi. We ask you, Ya Rabbi, to allow us not to complain during the month of Ramadan, and to take the best of this month, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Allahumma ahdina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt, wa tawallana fi man tawallayt, wa barik lana fi ma a'tayt, wa qina wasrif anna sharra ma qadayt, fa innaka taqdi wa la yuqda alayk, fa innahu lan ya'izza man adayt, wa lan yadhilla man walayt, tabarakta rabbana wa ta'alayt. Allahumma la taj'al ad-dunya akbar همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا واجعل الجنة هي دارنا وقرارنا يا ربنا. اللهم اجعل خير أيامنا يوم نلقاك فيها اللهم إنا نسألك أن تجعل بقاءنا في هذه الدنيا صوما ولقاء معكم ربي عيدا. لا إله إلا أنت أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.